Hello guys! As you might know, the best way to play Sinful Spoils cards is usually in a White Forest, or in the OCG, maybe in a Snake Eyes deck. But there are some different options on how to play Sinful Spoils cards, let's say less conventional matters, that completely revamp on how the deck wants to function. And as my first deck, I want to cover not pure White Forest, but actually this abomination of a deck. What is this deck? This is Azamina OTK. It is not a going first deck at all. This deck is specifically made to go second, even though you might see a card like Sinful Spoils of Slumber Morian in there. But the entire idea of this deck is to resolve Azamina cards going second. Because Azamina has some really good tools at taking down a board. If you have played White Forest and followed my channel a little bit, you might have heard that I am a very big proponent of playing Saint Azamina. So the nice thing about this deck is that it is completely built around being able to turbo Saint Azamina on demand. And how does this deck accomplish this? By two ways. First of all, we max out the amounts of Sinful Spells and Azamina fusion spells that we have in our deck, so that we can most reliably have access to both of them in combination and with as much as abundance as possible. The second way how we can facilitate it is using mulch armies. Yes, I know, very creative. Mulch armies in themselves are really good in strong engine because strong engine decks can just draw very strong cards that help you play through a board while still accessing your, and usually not the non-engine what kills your opponent, but the engine is. So being able to have access to the engine that also tries to fulfill the purpose of non-engine will help you immensely going second. But why are Azamina cards so good going second? Besides the fact that I already said that these cards can interact with a board very well, Hollowed Azamina has the neat little quality of missing a once per turn statement on its activation effect. As you see, instead of playing one Hollowed Azamina, I'm playing three of them. And we are maxing out the Sinful Spoils cards with 3 Queen, 2 Diabellstar Vengeance, 2 Deception, 3 Wanted, 3 Subversion, 1 Morion, and 1 Sinful Spoils of Betrayal Severe. So this makes in total 3, 7, 8, 9, 12, 15, 16, 17 Sinful Spoils cards onto 6 direct hard draw ways to get to fusion, as well as the Bellstar, which gets us to there. And I have not even counted the Bellstar itself as a Sinful Spoils card in here. So you have very abundant access to the Sinful. The second thing that this pure Azamina approach allows you to do is play the best hand trap in the game right now, which is Dominus Impulse. Because this deck uses mainly dark monsters, even though it plays 2 light monsters that it utilizes very often, it mainly uses the effects of the dark monster. Sometimes it will happen that Impulse will lock you out of Elza as a mean of the White Forest, but Elza in this deck is less of a bridge card and more of a utility one-of that you can use to summon and shuffle back for Hollowed Azamina to get Hollowed Azamina back, or to fusion summon while you don't have access to a Hollowed Azamina by using a Diabellstar Vengeance. The next idea, which this deck has, is that one illusion monster plus one level 6 or higher fiend monster lets you fuse into Azamina Regina, and there are some really good going second fiend cards, specifically Radian, the multi-dimensional kaiju, and Lava Golem. So what you can technically do against a deck that is very prone to being kaiju'd, you can just summon a Lava Golem because this deck does not normal summon whatsoever. And then you could side in Super Poly to then out this Lava Golem by fusing away like a Queen Azamina or an Elzet Azamina of the White Forest or one of your fusion monsters, get access to Moragina. And the final interaction, what this deck is actually built around of, is Azamina, the card Azamina. Uh, to talk about Azamina is very interesting. I would not run this in a pure deck, but this deck is different. This deck's entire purpose built around ending the game turn 2, and Azamina is one of the critical points how you can do it if Saint Azamina OTK is not enough. So, how do you summon Azamina? You can either use Queen Azamina plus 1 fusion or synchro monster. Super Poly can help there. Or how you're actually going to do it is tributing one Saint Azamina on your field, which you pretty much easily have access to, and one monster that is face up in your opponent's zones. So let's say a Rogue Ryziel Detonator, something like that. This allows you to summon a 4,000 beat stick, and in itself is an extra deck kaiju. But this does not answer the question why we are only playing one Saint Azamina and two Azamina. The fun part comes when we Saint Azamina effect to cheat out a Moragina, because then can do this. Saint Azamina summon out Moragina, or then you tribute the Saint Azamina and an opponent's monster for an Azamina. Then you can use Moragina to summon back Azamina and summon another Azamina by tributing another card that your opponent controls. And that is 11,000 damage on board while removing two monsters. And in addition to that, Mora Regina can remove two more monsters if you have any Sinful Fools or Azamina card that you can activate. Also, fun fact, Azamina's effect is completely live while under Impulse because it does not activate. So if you have to use, if you're relying on that Floodgate effect that barely comes up, it's always live, even if Impulse comes up, even though Azamina is a light monster, which is fairly funny. The other extra deck utilities are for very low game states, such as the Dark Charmer, so that we can reborn interesting dark monsters. For example, in the White Forest Mirror, we can reborn an opponent's Vengeance. SP Little Knights for obvious reasons. Chaos Angel if we have access to Moragina, and LZ. And Typhon being a critical point because this deck tries to out an entire board, and Typhon can help you when the OTK is not possible. By, for example, normal summoning your third Charmy that you drew. So, as said, this deck basically just wants to go second, and it is very enjoyable. I will be showcasing in this video no combos, but I'm going to showcase a YGO Omega replay because I've been mainly playing this as a quick fun deck on Omega. Also because opponents are way weaker on Omega than they are on Dueling Book, and also because it allows me to grind games quicker so that I could refine this deck list. All in all, I think this deck is definitely locals viable, and maybe you can even find success in a 6-round OTS championship. I'm pretty confident that opponents will interact with this deck falsely, because first of all, it's pretty hard to interact with as soon as the Charmies resolve. And second of all, there are only a limited few cards that actually interact well with this deck because the main choke point is uh, stopping the fusion summons from happening. So stuff like pops or something are not very effective against the deck, while actually negating the spell cards is. And fortunately enough, there are not many spell negates right now in the format. So keep this in mind. This is the strength of the deck. Now let's get to our play. So, okay, here I can select actually two replays. First of all, this is against a Thunder Nemesis Ryziel pile here. And as you see, I resolved Fuvalos rather than resolving Droll because I want to draw cards, because I am very confident in the fact that as soon as I draw two Azamina fusion cards and two Sinful Spoils cards, I can pretty much OTK anything, unless I get floodgated. As you see, I am letting him play. I have my Dominus Impulse. I could have used it here, but it does not matter. I just want more cards. But now something awkward is happening. So he added Nemesis Flag, and he already revealed that he was playing like Thunder Dragon cards. So I really did not want him to do whatever Nemesis Flag wants to. So I actually go out of my way and use a Droll Lockbird right here. And this eats a Ryziel Cross, which is kind of dumb of me that I have done that. But yeah, but I also had Dominus Impulse to hate that. I could have just not thrown the Droll, but it is what it is. The Droll would have been dead anyways. Okay, so let's play through this board now. Here, it is fairly weakened. First of all, Lightning Storm was a really good top deck to get rid of Rising Cross. But now we can just Sinful Spoils, Chain, our opponent is stupid and pops the wrong card. And now view how this deck OTKs. I here ran out of zones because I misplayed. But anyways, this is more than game. Also, a fun fact about these cards is sometimes they allow you to OTK through things that usually are not OTK'd through. This is one of the examples. We Perulia them, and they do Ryziel things. But now, oh no, Castel the Sky Blaster Musketeer. I wonder why my opponent summoned this. Well, spoiler alert, it didn't even matter. Because we hollowed Azamina here for Saint Azamina, the most important summon here, and then we Depters here to summon an Ilia Sylvia. Now, what is funny about Ilia Sylvia is her hidden effect, one of her hidden effects. And you'll see it right now. Yeah, Azamina dealing double damage is kind of funny when she already has 4,000 attack. So this is how cheesy this deck is. I would compare it to like a botched version of Tenpai, colored with cool artworks. Um, all in all, I hope you guys enjoy this. And for the next deck profile that I'm going to make, I'm going to cover 60 card Diabel Grass. But I will keep a little bit of time while I do that. For now, see ya guys.